Okay, this one's going to be on a Foursquare, but before I get into the Foursquare, I need to go back one step to something that is absolutely fundamental to actually being able to work Foursquare. That's going to be your commitment, your trial close. I still believe 100% in a written commitment. And if you look it up, the number one reason people didn't buy a vehicle when they went to the dealership, they were never asked. Now, there is no reason to be afraid of asking a customer for their business, unless you haven't done your job. If you haven't done that, then let's go back a few videos and we can walk back through all the steps of the sale. Now, here's the thing to think about. If you have done your job and you've built a relationship with your customer and you've actually done a really good investigation to find out all of the intricate details of their lives, and then you've landed them on the perfect vehicle and you have attached all of those intricate details to the actual features of the vehicle that you're showing them, and you've demonstrated why that vehicle is absolutely the perfect vehicle for them, you've shown them that you care. You've also walked them through the service department, you've built some value in the dealership, that it's family owned and operated, or that it's long-standing, it's well capitalized, that they're still going to be there to honor their commitments later on down the road, then you have a right to ask for their business. If you have not done all those things, you do not have a right. So understand that don't ask a question that you haven't earned. Fantastic, folks. It sure looks like we found the perfect vehicle for you. Is that fair to say? When they say yes, if they say anything aside from yes, get right off of it because you're not going anywhere. When they say yes, it's the trial or the product, setup and close. Here's your setup. Great. Now let me ask you a very important question. If I could find a way to work the details out on this particular vehicle, are you prepared to take delivery of it right now? And anything aside from right now, or are you prepared to take delivery of, is not a trial close. If I could work the numbers out, you think you could buy this? Or do you think you could see this in your driveway? That is not a commitment, and regardless of their response, do not move forward. You want to get a commitment that this is the perfect car, that this is the perfect place, and that you're the perfect person to do business with, and that they will take delivery right then. And think about this. If it is the perfect car, and you are a decent person, and you do care about them, and it is a good dealership, what's left? The money. But you don't want to call it the money, it's the details. No matter what they say, yes, no, anything in between, unless it's a 100% concrete yes, at which point you say, fantastic, folks, let me show you just how easy it is to do business right here. And then you walk them into the service department. Let me show you exactly where you're going to be serviced in your new vehicle. You are going to be building positive mental anchors of ownership. You walk them through, you introduce them to the service department. Hey, Bobby, this is Bobby Joe, and this is Jimmy. They're in the process of purchasing a brand new 2015 Jeep Patriot. This is where you're actually going to be serving your vehicle. Bobby does an absolutely awesome job. Bobby, tell them a little bit about a couple of the A certified master technicians that we have here in the shop, some of the state-of-the-art equipment that we have, just to make sure that they, and if you don't mind, I'm going to grab one of your business cards for when they need to schedule their first service appointment here in about 90 days. Oh, I haven't bought anything yet. That'd be my fault, not yours, folks. I promise I won't lose your business to the numbers, right? Because you won't. You'll lose your business because you didn't do your job and you didn't build enough value. Then you get to the Foursquare. I always either on the bottom or on the back or on a different sheet of paper, I actually either handwrite out or have typed commitments that state I will take delivery of the vehicle right now. This is your safety stop. This is your door closed behind the customer. This is your last-ditch effort to extract the real objection that they're afraid to tell you when they say no to the first pass. And they're going to. Then when you pull out your Foursquare, I want you to remember that people only take you as seriously as you take yourself. So if you pull out your Foursquare and you scribble Bobby Joe and you skip the address, I don't need that crap. You skip the phone number, you skip all of the stuff that you feel like you're probably going to have on all the other forms anyways, you're discrediting the value of the form. So start by sitting down after the commitment saying, fantastic, Bobby, if you don't mind, how exactly are you going to be titling the new vehicle? Okay, and then when they say, oh, Bobby, okay, no, Bobby, I'm going to need your full legal name as it would appear on your driver's license, as if you were taking a credit application, and fill it out. Fill out every single line here. If there's a spot for it, fill it out, and fill it out legibly. Take your time with this, because you want them to feel as though this is a real piece of documentation. This is not just some piece of trash paper that you throw out later, right? This is actually a commitment between you and the customer. This is a real document. So take your time with it. You're going to fill out all the vehicle information, the trade information, the cash investment, and monthly payment are obviously going to be coming from the desk. Now what I want you to think of is these boxes here are called your God boxes. And I don't know about you, but I don't play with God too much. Okay? So stay out of these boxes. If you get nothing else from this, I want you to remember that these are your God boxes, and you just don't want to go there. Okay? Now, you say, fantastic, folks, hang tight. You're going to be shocked at how easy this is. And now you're going to get numbers put in here, here, and here. When you go back over, oftentimes these numbers are done on a very short term. What you want to do is you want to prep the customer, especially if the numbers are a little bit contrary to where they told you they needed to be. And you want to say, fantastic, folks, listen, we've come this far. I would never want to discredit our relationship, so I want to make sure that I show you the best possible way to purchase the vehicle first, and we can tailor the terms from there for you. So, and you're going to open it up. And if you have your initial sale price, the discount, and then here, what you're going to do is you're going to say, great. So right here, we have the initial sale price of the vehicle. We took $3,450 off of that, brought it all the way down to here. Okay? Average market on your vehicle right now at the auctions in the last 30 to 90 days is somewhere between here and here. Well, we stepped up and we're giving you $2,000 more than that. You have a couple of different options so far as your cash commitment and your equity position. One would be with only this much down. The other would be with only this much down. And reflectively, this would be your monthly payment, this would be your monthly payment. Which one of those works best for you? And shut up. Now take note of a couple of things. If you have your sale price here, and you have your discount here, and then you have your new sale price here, what you say is the initial sale price of the vehicle was this. Nothing about the dollars. We took $3,450. That sounds big, right? Well, think about how big it sounds when you say the initial sale price of the vehicle was $43,872. That sounds huge. And then when you get down to here and you realize that you're still talking about 40 grand, you don't want to actually verbalize those things. So, the initial sale price of the vehicle was this. We took $3,450 off of that, brought it all the way down to here in an effort to help you target your monthly budget. We have a couple of different options. I apologize. On your trade, current market value on your trade transpiring over the last 30 to 90 days, you're not going to blame your used car manager for coming up low on his ACVs all the time. This is the current market on your vehicle as it sits, is somewhere between here and here. You don't want to say the amounts. And then you also don't want to say the amount on the trade, because what do the customers always want? They always want more for their trade and they want a lower sale price. But that's not really what they care about. If you told them that you're going to let them borrow 150 grand, because that's what you're selling the car for, and you're not going to give them a dime for their trade, but their payment's $250 a month for 48 months, what do? Okay, they sign up. Because if you take a certain amount of money for a certain period of time at a certain interest rate, whether you're in Alaska, Alabama, or Kentucky, you've got a certain payment. And what people actually care about is how much they have to stroke a check for every single month and how many months they have to do that for. Okay? So, what you do is you talk about the amount over the current market value that you're giving them for the trade. We're giving you $2,000 over that for your trade, with a couple of different options for your cash investment and equity position. With only this much down, you don't say $7,400, right? With only this much down, or with this much down, and reflectively, your payments would be here and here. Which one of those two works best? And the reason you shut up is because the first rule of negotiation, he who speaks first loses, and nobody likes losing. What you want to let the customer do is, whew, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You didn't give up anything. All you said was, that's not going to work, and you want to say it with as much genuine concern, like, are you kidding me? Because you have to have real conviction in the fact that this is the best possible way to buy the vehicle. These are great terms. That's not going to work, as if typically everybody says, fantastic, I'll take option 2. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Whew. Now, when you say that's not going to work, what do you mean? Well, that payment's way too high. That the sale price is ridiculous. Okay, so now let me ask you real quick. You touched on the sale price, but you also touched on the monthly payment. Where is it exactly that you were trying to target for the monthly payment? Or if you've already had a ton of conversation about it, then you've obviously influenced them up through the entirety of the process. You can say, well, I know you and I had originally talked about $300 a month. However, the vehicles I showed you within that budget range, they weren't necessarily up to the quality that you were looking for. But we also discussed the aspects of the fact that it's better to pay a little bit more money for the right car than a little less for the wrong car, right? So that being said, obviously we can adjust a couple of different things. But how much more money would you like to put down in order to drive that monthly payment down closer to your budget? Well, I don't even have the $5,000 to put down. Okay, well, so bear with me, folks, because as I'm sure you're familiar, as astute buyers, cash down and monthly payment work as a seesaw, right? Where one goes up, the other goes down. So it's fair to say that the average way to drive your monthly payment down would be to increase your cash down. So, and then if they keep going back to the trade, then go back to the analogy, folks. Listen, I completely understand. However, there's a bunch of different ways to cut the fat on a pig, right? And what you really care about is you care about your bottom line, and that is you care about how much you have to stroke a check for every single month and how many months you have to do that. Rather than limit us to only one of our available options so far as lowering that overall bottom line for you, why don't you leave that all the way open? But it's fair to say that if you're not investing more cash and you want your monthly payment to go down, that money has to come from somewhere. So either way, you're going to be saving it. So whether we take from Peter to pay Paul to get to that bottom line, leave me as many avenues as I possibly can, just so I have a better chance of getting there. And then what you want to do is flip over the piece of paper. You want to say, okay, so with an understanding of the parameters here and the fact that, there's not $8, $10, $12, $15,000 to give up, let me see if I can't find a little bit better way to negotiate on your behalf. So that being said, where do you folks absolutely need to be relative to that monthly payment? Okay, and now you already told me, and then obviously you guys know how to solicit an offer from there. However, just a quick recap. You must have a really solid commitment before you get to here. Customers two number one obligations when they get to a dealership. First, steal your information. Second, lower your expectations. They do that, stop buying into it. Work the process 100% of the time and ask for their business. If they refuse to make a commitment, then you have something else that you've missed along the way, and all the numbers in the world are not going to get you a car deal. Go back to what you missed. Folks, listen, if I found you the perfect vehicle, right? We've taken the time, and you obviously know that I really care about you and I take your business seriously. And I believe wholeheartedly with complete conviction that this is the right place to do business because we're going to be here later on to come through with all of our promises to you. If it's really just coming down to the numbers, then essentially you can read between the lines and it states, basically, if I can't get the numbers where you need them to be, you're not going to buy it, right? So, that being said, if there's something else preventing you from moving forward aside from the numbers, then let's just stop here and let's address that, okay? Then, you want to not actually voice the numbers that are big, the things that you don't want to talk about, like the sale price is going to be $40,000. The initial sale price of the vehicle is here. We took $3,450 off in an effort to help you target your budget, which brings the actual selling price down to here. Current market value in trade is somewhere between here and here. We stepped up $2,000 over that in an effort to help you out again, which brings your trade value to here. We have a couple different options so far as your cash investment into your equity position, right here, and reflectively your monthly payments would be right here and right here. Which one of those two works best? And shut your mouth. He who speaks loses. From there, solicit your offer. Do not go back to your desk if you can't solicit an offer. And if really you're really struggling with it and you've tried and you've adapted and you've actually learned how to solicit an offer, always default to, now listen folks, and pull out your commitment. Between you and I, this is yours and my commitment that I did my job properly and that I landed you on the perfect vehicle and that I did my right investigation. And this is my commitment to my manager that we are actually, in fact, not trying to push you into something that you're not willing to do, that I've done my job correctly. So when you signed here and said that you would take delivery if the numbers were right, it's probably fair to say that if you're talking about leaving right now, that the numbers aren't right. Well, you know your budget better than I do. So if you don't mind, could you share with me what those numbers would have to be? You always have that to fall back on, and that is the reason behind the commitment. Move your customer forward with positive mental anchors. Take the time. They only take this as seriously as you take it, and then study it and stay out of these two boxes.